I'm going to go ahead and call.
Here. You.
Maxwell is not in the room yet. She's there. Neither is Stephanie.
What do we have? If I can have the assembly come to their seats, please.
Bill just
2, 3. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call this special meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. This is a special meeting for Thursday, May 1st, 2025 for budget deliberations. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
I will. Tim Hale.
Here.
Stephanie Nowers.
Here.
Dee McKee will not be present. Maxwell Sumner.
Here.
Bill Gamble.
Here.
Dimitri Fonoff.
Present.
Ron Bernier.
Present.
Madam Mayor, you do have a quorum.
Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda? Seeing and hearing none, the agenda has been approved. If you all stand, and Assemblyperson Bonoff, will you lead us in the pledge?
My allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item of business, let's see, we do have a sign-up sheet, okay? Will be audience participation.
Like I saw her and then she disappeared.
Thank you. So as always, we will take the people who've signed up first to testify, and then we'll open it to anyone else. Linda?
Can I get you to turn your mic on? Just press that button. Thank you.
My name is Linda Spohn. Government needs to be limited, or we bankrupt ourselves, our communities, and our nation. I oppose fully funding the Mat-Su Borough libraries until all DEI, LGBTQ, transgendering minors, and obscene, vulgar, perverted material is removed. I'm not against libraries. They can be a wonderful asset to our communities. But who would have ever dreamed libraries would be used to harm and groom children and young adults with our tax dollars? Our hard-earned tax dollars are being used to tear down traditional family values, to disintegrate the family unit that God created. I am opposed to any increase in taxes at this time. We are all recovering from the abuse, fraud, and corruption that was inflicted on us from the Biden administration. $37 trillion in debt is basically a bankrupt nation. The financial state of Alaska looks just as grim because our legislators won't cut the bloated budget. President Trump is trying to make America great again, but the Alaska legislature isn't even trying. As our borough leaders, I ask you, please don't spend and tax us into oblivion. The Big Lake Lions Club building sounds like a money pit nightmare that the people of Big Lake want out of. That's why they want to hand their nightmare over to the borough. This does not sound like a wise investment to me. Since when has it been the government's responsibility to provide pornography in libraries and operate recreational event centers? In addition, I am opposed to helping the city of Palmer financially at this time to fund their projects. They can raise their own taxes if they want to overspend. The Palmer City Council has acted very irresponsible this past year, and the borough should not support such behavior. Responsible government does not provide everything for everyone. We don't want to become a welfare agency. Again, government needs to be limited, or we bankrupt ourselves, our community, and our nation. God help you with these decisions you have to make. And may God bless and protect the Matsu Borough through the shed blood of Christ Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie?
Good evening, Mayor and Assembly. My name is Jackie Goforth. I want to make sure they do that one first. I don't even know how to follow that one. I also would like to speak to the Big Lake recreational facility and why we would add that into our budget when we have such a problem at the libraries. Now, I have seen the libraries haven't had any of their funding cut. In fact, they get to buy whatever they want to. And you already know they're buying things to influence people, to influence children, and to influence grooming. Now, I spoke to you 2 days ago about this, and I told you that the reason why we're having a problem like this is because the educational facilities in this nation have been funded heavily by the Chinese Communist Party. I told you that, and I want to make sure that nobody up on the dais or nobody out in the audience believes that I am sucked into an internet conspiracy theory. So I'm bringing you proof, article after article. New report sounds alarm on the staggering amount of foreign money pouring into U.S. universities. Why is China secretly giving donations to American universities? Scrutiny of China's donations to American universities is long overdue. Feds launch a probe of UC Berkeley over hiding millions in funding from China and other countries. On and on and on and on. What kind of strings come with huge endowments like that? It's to teach and, what is that word? Influence. It's to influence people in Marxism, to influence them that there is no God, to influence them that the government is the God, to influence them that you don't have to be chaste, you don't have to be innocent, to influence them that parents should have no rights over your children are wards of the government, to influence them that nothing you do matters because there's space and you don't have to have religion. Your religion is now Satanism. I'm telling you, I read these things, I research these things, I bring the proof to you, and when people sit there and try and gaslight you by saying I'm sucked into an internet conspiracy, it's not true. I don't want to believe it either, but I have run across and talked to librarian and educator after librarian and educator who have the same story. There was one lady at the Matsu Health Foundation when I told her, bottom line, parents are responsible for what their children read. They're responsible. They get to make the choice. And she said, not if they send them to school, they don't. That is what they're educated in. Why do you think homeschooling is booming? And I don't understand why you would want to spend money on a Big Lake facility when, would it be safe? We can't even keep the libraries safe. Do you know the 6 steps of grooming children? Libraries already have 4 of them covered. Be where children are. Be trustworthy. Be able to get children alone, speak to them about sex. Seriously. That's why the LCIC is so important. I thank you so much still for having that. And I ask you, please, to look at the budget for the library and the Big Lake facility. Thank you.
Do we have anybody online, Caleb? No? Okay. So now it's open to anyone that didn't sign up but would like to address the assembly on any subject.
Good evening, Mayor and Assembly. You guys got a lot of big tasks at hand.
Name.
Oh, Mark Spawn, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
The only other budget meeting I went to was in Willow, and I mean, it seems everybody comes and everybody's got an ask. I mean, is this a big candy store? Is that what government is? I mean, how can we supply everything to everybody with our tax dollars? I'm against purchasing the recreation center, Lions Club, whatever you want to call it, in Big Lake. The man that managed it was there. He said he's worked there for 15 years for free. And he said most of the staff has worked there for free. And he said we're about $400,000 in debt. Well, that's a good thing to take over, isn't it? You're not going to get a manager or staff to work for free. And what about the rest of the people in the borough? Are they going to have a say-so? Is this going to be on a ballot, or are we going to try to push this through tonight? This affects every taxpayer in this borough. And I don't know if the figures I'm getting are right, but I talked to a borough employee, and he said you're responsible for maintaining or functioning of about 80 buildings. I know there's schools and fire stations and on and on. And you're going to take on a place like this? And they said it doesn't have permanent ice. You want to upgrade that, dasher boards. Millions of dollars can be funded every year for how long? The borough residents should have a say-so in this. I mean, my kids loved hockey. My kids played hockey. They loved it. We shoveled the path out on the lake, and they made their own hockey rink, groomed their own ice. You got a heck of a lot of fun and exercise out of that. We can't, as a government, we need roads, we need fire, we need safety items. Beyond that, these are luxuries. And how much has the home valuations and property valuations in the last 5 years increased? We all know they've gone up a lot with all this inflation. How much more revenue has this borough taken in just every year on the increase in valuation? And drive around the borough, there's a lot of stuff being built. I see houses going up everywhere. And every year that's more coming in, but yet we still think we should increase the taxes besides. We got to put the brakes on. People, there was a man here at a meeting a couple meetings ago and said he was a young man just trying to buy a house and get started. He said, this tax is crippling us. You can't just go hog wild. Oh, every year we got to raise the taxes. Why do you got to raise the taxes every year? Adjust the spending on all this stuff that isn't critical. We bank on you for critical things, and we agree on the critical thing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else? Do we have anybody online yet? No? Okay. I'll go ahead and close the audience participation. And so, Madam Clerk, if you want to go ahead and read the ordinance that is before us, please.
Ordinance 2525, an ordinance appropriating monies from the central treasury for the borough operating funds, enterprise funds, educating operating fund, and capital funds, establishing the rate of levy for all borough functions for the fiscal year, beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, and setting the surcharge rate for the wireline and wireless enhanced 911 systems for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
Deputy Mayor?
I move to postpone the ordinance
The
25.
first one on top, you got to move to adopt it.
Oh,
It's on the top.
I move to adopt ordinance 25-025.
Okay, thank you. Okay, discussion from the assembly on the ordinance.
Madam Mayor?
Did you want to go ahead and
Sure.
do those, or have them do them, or what? Oh, I'm
Whatever,
sorry.
whichever way
Yes,
they want to. I just want to explain what was handed out.
Okay, Assembly Person Hale, you raised your hand? No, okay.
So the packet was handed out. The packet was handed out with, there's 4 amendments sitting in front of you. So the first one, these are the order they were received in. And then there was one handed out that Assemblymember Gamble gave me at the end, or before the last meeting, and it is placed in the very back. It's loose from the stapled packet, though.
Okay, so with the assembly people that sponsored the I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move Assembly Amendment Number 1 in your packet here. I move to amend as follows and make any other conforming changes to the budget. Reduce the area-wide mill rate by 0.067 mils from 8.612 to 8.545, resulting in a reduction of the estimated fund balance from $1,660,601 to $660,601. And I'd like to speak to it.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so there's always a little bit of fund balance built into the budget in case any assembly members have any pet projects. I had not seen anything that was going to be large in any of the amendments that were kind of being discussed. I think this will leave $660,000 in the fund balance in case there are folks who have a project that they think was missed in the manager's budget. Usually we try and keep about $500,000 in the fund balance. I think last year we kept 430 or something like that in the fund balance. It doesn't seem like that adversely affected us to be slightly below the 500,000. So I thought this amendment would reduce the mill rate. And by my calculations, it would go from the average homeowner paying $115 more in taxes this year to paying $90 more in taxes this year. So it reduced by about $25, the average 360,000 whatever homeowner value payment in taxes. And still leave a little bit if people had small projects that they'd like to, that the manager missed.
Assemblyperson Sumner, did you range?
Yeah, I was just going to say I have a bone to pick with you, Mr. Hale, because you beat me to the punch. I was thinking the same thing. So I second that.
Okay, Assemblyperson.
Question
go
to,
ahead.
I guess, Manager Brown. In the past, when we have fund, what has that been used for? Is that just kind of for throughout the year if we have upcoming expenses, or is this specifically only for the for us to utilize during the budget deliberation?
So through the mayor to the assembly, our intent is to leave approximately $500,000 in projected fund balance because there are revenues projected in the budget that are estimates. And so sometimes they don't generate what we estimate. So this creates a little bit of a buffer in case we over projected in the budget, any of those revenues that might come in at lower numbers. So that's why we recommend having $500,000 just to make sure we have a little bit of room should some of those revenue projections come in lower than projected.
Okay. And what happens the following year if that projection, surpassed the thing? Do we kind of apply it to the following year, or how does that work?
We apply it to the following year budget. We do not put it into like a savings account. It gets rolled into the next year's fiscal year budget.
Further discussion? Yes, Assemblyperson Hale, go ahead.
Yeah, that brings up a good question. How much unexpended fund balance was the actual number for last year that got rolled in into this year's budget? How much did we collect versus how much we what do you call that? Predicted.
Go ahead.
Through the mayor to Assemblymember Hale, Cheyenne Heindel, Finance Director. So last year, after the audit was completed, we had $14,252,467 of unassigned fund balance left over. So most of that, just so you know, most of that related to unrealized gains that we had on our investments.
So quite a bit more than the $430,000 that we left in the
Yes,
budget.
and if you look at the reconciliation for the general fund, we used all of that to balance this year's budget.
Further discussion? Is there any objection to the amendment? Okay, seeing and hearing none, then the amendment has been adopted. Okay, Madam Clerk?
If I could, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
For those that haven't gone through the budget before, we usually have a lot more amendments. The last couple of years we haven't. But if you'll see in the upper right corner, you number the amendments, and the mayor or I will either tell you it's amendment 1, 2, because if anything gets reconsidered, you end up bringing these packets back with you, and you can refer back to amendment number 2 if something gets reconsidered, and you can go back to that page.
Okay. So Assemblyperson Ponoff, do you want to read this or have the clerk read your amendment?
Here's the next one in the packet.
I wanted to push that to a bit later time. I have a proposed amendment that's not in that one, and this is Mike, a quick question. When you gave this to me, was this not given to the rest of the, because I don't see it in this package. And this is for the cleanup vehicle removal.
No, that's not the,
This is the only amendment I have received. You don't have to move it if you don't want to.
Okay,
We can come
I don't
back
want,
to it
I'll move
later.
it right now on that one.
okay, so that's not being moved now, okay. Ready? Then the next one, assembly person hours, do you want to move or collaborate?
Yeah, yeah, I'll go ahead and move it.
Okay,
I move to amend as follows and make any other conforming changes to the budget. The area-wide fund non-departmental transfer to 415, 425, 430, 435, 440, 470, 44.6, 446.700 by increasing the appropriation by the amount of 50,000 and adding to the capital project for a planning grant to the city of Palmer for 50,000 to allow for snow removal at the city of Palmer Airport. I can speak briefly to this. This was something we did last year. The Palmer Airport is quite a draw economically, and in heavy snow years can be quite a challenge to clear. And in addition, they have medevac that come in there. So having a clear runway is a benefit not only to the citizens of Palmer, but the borough as a whole. And then that airport itself does benefit the borough as a whole as well.
questions or comments?
This is
on
amendment number 2.
Amendment number 2. Assembly person Palmer, go ahead.
That's the presentation, the request in the last Tuesday meeting that I think we had, right? Question is, you said snow removal. Last year, he said they used it for something else, even though there wasn't, I couldn't completely understood. And they had the plan when they were asking last year to not having to ask this year, but then somehow we didn't get the question answered because it was during the testimony. And then somehow he said, but we're still asking for money again. So it seems like when they originally asked last year, we granted it to them, unless I'm misunderstanding something, with intent to not having to do it in the future. But now they say, you continue still to give us money for it. And I don't know how much city of Palmer gives to that airport. I think it's not fair for the rest of it's because it is area-wide fund to give this a benefit to specifically Palmer, because then we may be, not fair to the other areas. So for this reason, I think I have questions and maybe not completely understanding why we need to give them this.
Do you want to respond? Assembly person
I
Howard?
think it was noted the leaseholders out there raised their rates quite a bit to raise an additional 30,000, and the city contributes quite a bit to it. And I'm not sure what the other thing that you're referring to, but they have ongoing maintenance at that with snow and with non-snow maintenance as well.
Further discussion on amendment number 2. Yes, Assembly person Sumner, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I would like some clarification on this too, because I'm wondering who owns the Palmer Airport. I guess I don't know that. Does the city of Palmer own it? Is it the leaseholders that have some kind of amalgamation or something, and who provides maintenance and and stuff like that? Yeah.
Assembly person Hours.
My understanding, city of Palmer owns it. The leaseholders pay for the spots out at the airport.
Further discussion?
I guess
Yes, Assembly person Anna, go ahead.
I'm going to say that they asked originally, we didn't have much snowfall, and they're asking for again. If they didn't increase the rates enough, other places increase based on to make things work, I think we shouldn't be constantly giving it to them. So I'd ask to, just because we had a lot of asks, especially when we went to, I think, the Willow. So I think, but this one is going to be an ongoing thing if we're going to do it again.
Okay. Further questions, discussion? Oh, Assembly person Gamble, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Palmer owns it. I thought either the state or the feds would own it, since there's an FAA flight facility in there. So I'm curious about that as well. Who actually owns the airport? But I will say that the borough does benefit from the Palmer Airport in many ways. They provide flight training for pilots there. The state of Alaska Division of Forestry is based at Palmer Airport, so whenever we have a wildfire, they're able to get on it right away with their helitack aircraft and their tankers. And so, we may not call it a borough airport, but we definitely reap the rewards of having a facility like that in the Matsu Borough. Thank you.
Assemblyperson Sumner, go ahead.
Yeah, I know we gave them this grant last year, but historically, how often have we given it to them? How many years have we been giving? Does anyone have information?
Assemblyperson Hours.
I believe this would be the second year for this specific funding. And the city does own and operate that airport, but they do get some state funding, just like all airports, for certain things, but it's limited. It doesn't include the maintenance.
Okay, further discussion, questions? Do I have an objection to, we do have an objection. Okay, Madam Clerk?
If the members can go ahead and vote. Madam Mayor, it passed with Assemblymember Fanoff and Bernier opposed.
Okay. Do we have another amendment, ma'am?
It's a loose page, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
It was in the back of your handout. Let's see.
Okay, thank you.
No, I don't know where it's at. It looks like this, Madam Mayor.
Okay. I believe it. I got piles on piles here.
Can I borrow yours
I
real
don't,
quick?
yeah, I don't see it.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So this is Assemblyperson Gamble. Do you want to read it, or do you want the clerk to, sir? And it will be amendment number 3.
Okay, I'll read it. Yeah. I move to amend as follows and make any other conforming changes to the budget. The area-wide fund non-departmental transfer to 415-425-434-440-470-446-700 by increasing the appropriation by the amount of $26,000 and adding the capital project Jordan Lake Park grant to the Big Lake Community Council for the amount of $26,000 with the following project description: completion of the park. This project will decrease the proposed fund balance and will not increase the mill rate.
Okay.
And can I speak to it? Okay. So, yeah, the Jordan Lake Park Committee, last time I checked, a couple of days ago, they've raised almost $40,000 to develop this piece of borough property that's right adjacent to the Big Lake Library. And it will add some items to the community that we don't presently have when we're talking about the health of our children and keeping them busy. They plan on adding a soccer field, adding a venue for music in the park, tables for people to come outside from the library with their books and read in the outdoors where it's nice and fresh air. And this just helps them not complete the process, but make pretty good headway on it. And it's my understanding that there's a couple of organizations that are ready to assist them even more, but they want to see that the borough has interest in the park as well as the community. So I think that this will go a long ways to helping them accomplish what they've started, and it will let the other nonprofit organizations in the area know that that the borough has skin in the game with this. So I hope you vote with me. Thank you.
Discussion? Yes, Assemblyperson Sumner, go ahead.
Yeah, I consider myself pretty fiscally conservative. I think that we should have limited government and low taxes. I pay a lot of property taxes. I think that my best interest and every property owner's best interest is keep the property taxes low. But there are some things that the government does better than the private industry that the private industry does not do. Parks are one thing that I have not seen a lot of people stepping up in the private industry provide. So yeah, I'll be supporting this.
Further discussion on amendment number 3. Assemblyperson Sumner, I know even before you were born, but I can tell you that all of those parks out there were all done by local people. No borough money. Now, that's talking back in the 70s, of course. Like I said, it was even before you were born. Assemblyperson Nowers, go ahead.
I love the history of Palmer and seeing that, what the people who've been here before have contributed. And I guess on this, I would just, I appreciate that the local community has stepped up and found money to make this work. So you again have the community involvement, and that's an important part to see on these projects.
Further discussion. Is there any objection to amendment number 3? Okay, don't see any, so then amendment number 3 has passed. That's it? I don't think we have any other pre-filed ones. Does anybody have anyone that they didn't file but would like to bring up at this time? Deputy Mayor, you got something in your hand? No, okay. Yes, Assemblyperson Fauna.
This is a community cleanup one, and this is just to allocate out of the cleanup one. Okay,
You've got copies.
you do have it. Okay. Okay, and basically it's area fund community cleanup. I move to amend as follows and make any other conforming changes to the budget. The area fund non-departmental community cleanup vehicles and junk removal, and it's 100.130
Thank you.
dot 158 dot 429 429 dot 600 by increasing the appropriation the amount of $50,000, and this is for the junk vehicle removal program specifically. This amendment will decrease the proposed fund balance and will not increase the mill rate. And if I may briefly say,
Yes, go ahead and speak to it, sir.
this would be a third year we'd be doing. We started with 50, then we went to 75, which was a great success. Over 90, some 5%, I think the feedback was very overwhelming positive. It was focused on people who don't have means to get junk vehicles removed out of their yard. We go a bid the lowest price so we can get as much junk vehicles removed. I think first year was about 250. Now this year it would be over 300 if all goes well. And then with $50,000, we should be able to still do probably 250 cars or something like that. And it goes area wide for Almat-Sioux Borough, and it's always had a good feedback, and it's a small investment for a lot of eyesores and things like that. And a lot of real estate people have shown a lot of support, saying that it really helped just the neighborhoods overall, because some people that never were in position to do it, they just tell the owner, say, hey, there's this available, why don't you reach out? They reach out directly to the recycler, they arrange it, and we don't deal with any paperwork directly between the consumer and then the person, the recycler just submits the invoice after they completed their work, and we pay them. So I just want to dedicate $50,000 to that.
Assemblyperson Hale.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Faunon's program has been incredibly successful, and I look forward to seeing it continue. It's exactly the reason why I didn't try and take all of the fund balance off the table with my first amendment. Thank you, Mr. Fauno.
Assemblyperson Nowers.
Just, this is to what Max was saying, that, we try to keep a lid on the budget, but there's things we do that really serve the community, and this is a small part of the budget, and is really well received, and allows us to at least do a little bit to the people who call in. So the people who have this issue, we can't solve it for everybody, but this is a way to at least be able to say yes a few times. So I appreciate this, and we'll support it.
Further discussion on, yes, Assemblyperson Gamble.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question for the maker. Why did you want to reduce it to 50 from 75?
I don't have a good answer to that. we started with 50, we went to 75. This year, we're trying to do a lot of other programs that are also been working very well with nonprofits and things like that, where we're using that dedicated amount of money very wisely, and it felt like it's a right balance. We would be able still to go to 75 out of the full amount, and I don't know, Manager Brown might tell us what he had proposed, the total amount there. But 50 is a good start, but we do have if you'd want to change it to 75, I will also support you in that.
Assemblyperson Gamble, go ahead.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to amend amendment number 4 and strike the amount of $50,000 for towing reimbursement and insert $75,000 for towing reimbursement.
Or how much? I'm sorry.
75.
75. Okay, great. Thank you. So the discussion now is on the amendment, changing the amount from 50 to 75. Discussion on the amendment. Yes.
As long as I can use the extra 25 in District 2.
Okay. Further, yes, go ahead.
I don't know what kind of deal is that, it's missed in hours, but I think your area is pretty darn, I think that they don't struggle with this specific problem. Yeah, I think this is overall as a good, and I'll support you, Bill, on that. Thank you.
This further discussion on the amendment to change the amount from 50 to 75,000. Is there any objection to that amendment? Hearing and seeing none, then amendment number 4 is before you again, but with a new figure of 75,000. Further discussion on amendment number 4, main amendment number 4, I guess I should say. Primary, thank you. Is there any objection to primary amendment number 4? Okay, hearing and seeing none, then primary amendment number 4 has been adopted. Do we have any other amendments at this time?
Want to ask a question? Can I?
Yes, Assemblyman Alfonso.
I want to ask permission, Mayor. If I have a potential amendment, but for that, I'd need a maybe help from the staff and the manager. Would we be able to get to answer some question for that specific potential amendment?
What
I want to do is I have potential amendment to for one of the staff position with the cleanup coordinator from the seasonal to full-time, but so the assembly has a better understanding, the full body. I wanted to see if we would be able to get a Jason Ortiz to so we can question him a little bit on that, and based on that to see if we want to I would want to propose it and to see if there's value in there to then vote on that. Is that
Okay,
possible?
so you want to call forth a staff member, Jason, to discuss. Is there any objection from the assembly regarding bringing forth staff? Okay, Jason, you are summoned. It's not quite as bad as the principal's office, but almost. So did you understand Assemblyman's phone office questions or?
The question generally is, tell us the history of what we did last year with the on-call position, the benefits we got out of it, and if we maintain that is what we are expecting within the proposed option versus if we had that full-time position. And I think Mr. Brown will have the actual total amount, what the difference is in the dollar amount. You might do, but just give us a little bit of summary on that so we can possibly ask additional questions.
Sure. Through the mayor to Assemblymember Fonoff and the rest of the assembly. Jason Ortiz, Deputy Director in Planning. So I guess the question from Assemblymember Fonoff was to just tell the assembly a little bit about the cleanup. So as you guys recall, I think we're about 2 years into discussions of several assembly meetings discussing private property or cleanup in general. And what we ended up doing is we surveyed, the nonprofits, all nonprofits in the valley. We ended up working out with just a handful of nonprofits, mainly the Adult Teen Challenge Center and we hired a temporary or a seasonal employee, 1,000-hour employee, whatever terminology you want to call it. We ended up doing a private property cleanup program. The budget that we had, I believe, was about 75,000, 85,000, something like that. Well, we set a goal to do some cleanups throughout the valley, and we set a goal of 20 properties. The reason why we went with the nonprofits is we saw the need to clean up. So overseeing code compliance, we see the need of going out there. We're ticketing people for having junk and trash all through neighborhoods, right? So by developing this program and utilizing nonprofits, we were keeping money within the borough, but we were doing it on a shoestring budget. So rather than hiring a traditional contractor and we're spending $15,000 or $20,000 to do a cleanup, we were doing cleanups for like $3,000 and $4,000. So over the course of the summer, with this temporary employee, 1,000-hour part-time, we'll just use the term part-time employee, we were able to accomplish 19 cleanups. Bifurcated from this, we created a diversion program, which we signed an MOU, an agreement with the Department of Law, which allowed us to start tackling these cleanups with the diversion. So meaning taking, instead of, and working with the Department of Law, the local district attorney's office, and taking people, instead of being charged criminally, they would be offered a deal with the district attorney's office. They would be referred to our office, do however many hours we designate of community service, and then have them tackle these cleanup properties. By the time we got this person hired, it was, after July 1, we started August. It was really late in the season, but we were able to do actually 19 cleanup properties through the private property cleanup and with this part-time coordinator, and one with our diversion program, which was the property that we discussed on Heather Way. And you guys all remember the Tenino Community Council coming in here a lot and complaining about that. We were actually able to get that area cleaned up. So I guess with this coordinator position, we saw the need for it. We did it on a very, very tight budget. What we're proposing, if we did have this as a full-time, is right now we do cleanup through a variety of different ways. We have solid waste, who deals with cleanup in public rights-of-ways and like vehicles that are abandoned on the side of the road. They also deal with the cleanup property or like community cleanups that happen in neighborhoods and so forth like that. That's through solid waste. We have the private property cleanup that we've been doing. We have this potential of a diversion program. And then we have the land management department that deals with cleanup of borough-owned properties. So whether that's properties that the borough has taken through clerk's deed process, so people haven't paid their taxes, now we have a clerk's deed, and these properties have junk and trash cases on them. It is the borough's responsibility to now clean up those properties, and that's what the land management department does. What we would essentially try to do is take all this and combine this into one and create a way more efficient process where we can get all these types of things cleaned up. When we talk about those land management properties, of trying to get those cleaned up, the faster we get those cleaned up, the faster that they can get sold and then, get into a tax roll and create more revenue for the borough. As far as the rest of the programs, I've had several conversations with Manager Brown and others, and really to expand a viable diversion program, you really need someone to cultivate these relationships and take care of this year round. There is a potential to do some amazing things with the diversion program, but right now we're kind of limited because we don't have an employee that does that. They only work a limited time of hours. We learned a lot. I think most of the members, or those of you that were here, one of the concerns was, well, what is this employee going to do in the wintertime? There is a lot of work to do in the wintertime. There's a lot of relationship building. A lot of this diversion stuff that we can do ultimately would save us money. When you look at what we really want to do is like do the metrics to see what it's going to save. Like, if someone doesn't go through the court system, you're going to have savings through the court. You're going to have savings through the district attorney's office. And these are all what we as taxpayers pay. the public defender, the district attorney, the adult probation, like all these costs would be eliminated and we could potentially run it through a diversion program. So there's great opportunity to expand that. Bring some different services that we have offered that we're doing right now throughout the borough and combining it into one division and tackling all this, being more efficient, more wise, and trying to see how we can partner with other areas, how we can solve some of these issues, some of the issues of the homeless things that we have. How can we work with nonprofits? Government's not going to solve these problems, but we certainly can partner with nonprofits and others in the community to try to tackle some of these. So I think does that sum up a good summation of what you were asking for, Assemblymember Fonoff?
Yeah, the benefits, and I guess to follow up, maybe Shannon can answer this, is this also a transition from part-time to full-time can also be funded from the fund balance that we have to not increase the mill rate? And I don't know what is the approximate difference between what was budgeted versus what the full-time would be, so we know the number.
Through the mayor to Assemblymember Fonoff, if you give us a few minutes, we could write up that amendment for you. It can be funded out of fund balance, but this sounds like it's going to be a reoccurring cost every year. So it might be more reasonable to allow that amount to increase the mill rate slightly. Because fund balance is a one-time shot. Great for capital projects, one-time things, but reoccurring things, it'll be a reoccurring budget item.
Okay, that answers that question. So,
But I can't, if you give us about if we could take a 5-minute break maybe, we could get that amendment written with the numbers, so we're giving you good numbers.
You mean the difference between the
The difference between, yeah. I want to have it on paper, so we're not making any mistakes later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Assemblyperson Sumner, did you have a thought or a comment?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I don't see that there's a huge rush to write that amendment right now, because I have some amendments that I might be considering. So I do not want to vote on the budget tonight either way.
Same here.
Right, yeah. I think the deputy mayor earlier started the postponement motion. So hopefully that's where it is. So, is that agreeable to you, sir? Is that, go ahead and take a break and do that, or would you rather work with?
It's up to Mr. Fonoff. We can draft it.
Okay, all right.
I definitely want to draft it, and then we'll actually know the number and the impact of it. And I think that would be fair to the rest of them, so we're not voting for something that we don't have the number on. And
Yeah. Assembly
We can take it up
hours.
on Tuesday.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Tim, did you have yours too?
I did not have my hand up, thank you.
Oh, okay. Assembly hours?
I was just gonna say, it sounds like there's gonna be a motion to postpone our budget because there's people who want to bring stuff for a meeting on Tuesday. So I don't know if we could just.
Thursday.
Sorry, Thursday, because we have our meeting on Tuesday.
Okay.
If we just want to go ahead and postpone, and then you've got time to bring your amendment for our Thursday meeting.
Okay. Assemblyperson
that
Pownall, would that
fine,
be okay?
But I do think this is a perfect opportunity. If anybody else has questions specifically what that position will do, this is a good opportunity to get Jason to answer. That's all.
Assemblyperson Sumner?
Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Ortiz. I mean, do you see any disadvantage? I mean, we were already planning on it being a part-time position. Do you see any disadvantage to postponing a full-time position until next year?
Through the mayor to Assemblymember Sumner. There's never a disadvantage. I run a lean budget as well, so I'm not about like adding. It's just continue adding. I like to find efficiencies. So it really depends on what the direction of the assembly wants to do, where you guys want to go. I could tell you. I don't know how much before you joined onto the assembly you kept up with all the assembly meetings, but in the last 2 years we've had a lot of discussions, and it's always around junk and trash and cleanup. And so this was probably one of the first programs that or anything we've ever done that's been proactive and trying to eliminate that blight. So kind of like that broken windows theory, of criminal justice. That's really what it was tackling. And so it's really for my personal, doesn't matter what the assembly does. It just depends on what direction we're going to flow. I do know that if we have, with just a part-time, we're not going to expand a diversion program because we wouldn't have that personnel to do it. I'd love to be able to shift someone to be able to do that internally, but we don't have the capacity right now. And yeah, so I guess it just depends on the direction of Assembly.
So Assemblyperson Bonoff, do you have a problem regarding holding your amendment until next Thursday night?
Yeah, and that will give time to prepare, so okay. But
Okay.
I just was saying that that's a good opportunity to learn about amendment, and then in front of you, I'll just present it on the next, you'll have the number, but the questions will be answered.
Okay, good, okay. All right, so I think that's it then for
Good.
you for
right, thank you.
tonight, sir. Thank you. Assemblyperson Sumner, you said you had some amendments?
Oh, no, I said I'm considering some for
Oh,
next.
considering,
for the
okay.
next meeting, next budget
Okay,
hearing.
so a week from tonight, then you
Yeah, I just don't want to
anticipate-
vote on the budget tonight.
I just want
we
to
weren't doing that.
I just want to be clear that the meeting is next Thursday, not next Tuesday.
Right.
So a week from
Yeah,
tonight.
a week from today.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Well, we do have a regular assembly meeting on Tuesday. A regular.
I was totally at a loss because I did not realize today was Thursday. I thought it was Tuesday.
Yeah. So, but.
I got a little of that in my cherry cola too.
Well, it's probably a little stronger in my ginger ale. So, So, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the word considering. I just heard that you had some. Okay. So is there any further prepared amendments or ones that are going to be easy if you want to do them tonight? Or are we ready to wrap it up for Tuesday night, a regular meeting, and a week from tonight, the continuation of the budget? Yes, Assemblyman Fonoff?
Thank you. So the amendment that's that I have, I want to speak briefly on it. I want to give all you plenty of time because there was some stuff that Manager Brown sent me, and this is regards specifically if when funding. It's in your folder. It's with the Lions Club. What it does, and what it will increase the mill rate by 0.076. My request to all of you to consider looking and maybe have Manager Brown send you the report as far as what potential expenses that purchase will require besides just the ongoing operational thing. But in order for that facility to run, there's several dozen of pages in the report. Kind of like an inspection report that says with all the potential problems and what it would need, so that we make a very wise decision in regards to the Lions Club purchase of the commitment, how much potential millions of dollars we still have to do, and not to mention to just even solve the problem with parking because there isn't enough parking, or if there's parking that will need to be built. Another things there's they don't have refrigerated ice rink, which is also potentially up to $2 million, or I mean maybe on conservative numbers just $1 million, and to make that to be in consistent ice for the hockey clubs. And many, many more things. And if one of the speakers spoke up today that if it was voluntarily run and they were still not even breaking even, for us it's going to be a big investment, especially if we want to run it properly. So I do want you to look through that and maybe get that report as well and read it, so that when we are making that decision, we're not making it kind of just here on the fly, but so that all of you will look into what it will cost. So that's why I decided to hold this amendment till the next meeting, so that I wanted to speak on it, but make all of you have an informed decision when it comes to before we vote on it. That's my request.
Further discussion on any subject, anything? Okay, are we ready then for the motion regarding, I think we probably have an objection to it passing tonight, right? I hear that. Okay, so Deputy Mayor.
I move to postpone the ordinance 25-025 to May 8th, 2025.
Okay. Discussion on that motion? Any objection? Hearing no objection, then the motion has been approved. Okay, Madam Clerk, you have anything else? We're ready to do comments. Okay, Assemblyman Fauna, parting comments, sir?
No, thank you.
Okay, Assemblyperson Gamble?
Yeah, I'd just like to invite everybody out to one of the biggest gun shows in the state of Alaska at the Big Lake Lions Recreation Center this weekend. All right, thank you.
Assemblyperson Sumner, parting comments?
I like guns, so I'll probably be there. No other comments.
Madam Clerk?
I just want to remind the assembly to go ahead and bring your amendment packet back for the next meeting since there are an amendment in here that wasn't moved.
Mr. Brown, parting comments, sir?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will try to one-up the report, and if any assembly member wants to tour the Big Lake Lions Club, we can set that up. If you want to see it firsthand and have a discussion, we're happy to facilitate that. Reach out to me or Jillian Morrissey. And just a reminder, if there are any amendments you're looking at for next Thursday, if you give us a heads up, we'll have it ready. Thank you.
Assemblyperson Nowers, parting? None? Assemblyperson Hale, parting?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. So the Jonesville cleanup for the Jonesville Public Use Area is on Saturday, May 17th. You guys should come on up if you're interested in the Jonesville project. Take a look around, see what we're kind of dealing with up there. I know that they are planning on having 4 dumpsters, 20-yard dumpsters there for folks to pitch in, and it will take all of that and probably more. So come on up, take a look. The folks who are I'm going to be actually up at work, but the folks who are going to be running it are really knowledgeable about the area. They can show you all around and point out the really neat things about the Jonesville Public Use Area.
Deputy Mayor, parting comments?
Yeah, I'd like to take you up on the Big Lake Lions Club. I think that'd be a good idea to
Catch up with you after this meeting.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank our Lord and Savior for all the blessings. Thank you for the mercy. Thank you for your grace, Lord. Fill us with the Spirit. Give us wisdom to make the right decisions, Lord. Help the homeless. Protect the first responders, our veterans. Bless our country, Lord. Bless our families. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mr. Attorney, parting comments? No? Okay. So I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 6:59, 58.